having St. Paul be filled with bright, interesting, good-hearted people, but just we all seem to do a better job taking a breath once in a while. So I love that. I love that about St. Paulites. I also love the history here. Somebody once told me that sort of during that era of buildings being knocked down over in Minneapolis, St. Paul didn't have the money to knock buildings down. So thank God for that, because there are some beautiful, fascinating historic buildings, you know, ranging from the James J. Hill House to like the Pioneer Endicott building, which makes me feel like I'm at the NBC Rockefeller Center. You know, there's like this really cool Art Deco architecture.
I've never been to any place like the Children's Museum. It's really fun here. Well, it's really special for St. Paul. It's really fun. It's good for learning, and it's also shows your creativity. Off we go. Okay, we're here at the lake. It's just right over there.
Yeah, I feel like the spirit of St. Paul is evolving. There's a really strong entrepreneurial spirit, especially with the Green Line coming through. And so I think that communities are finding more access to resources that can help them sort of like take up a storefront or, you know, maybe build more off of their pop-up, you know. And I'm like, wow, it's kind of interesting how Minnesota is seen as like a Scandinavian state. And I'm like, that's not the Minnesota or the St. Paul that I see, because the St. Paul that I see is filled with so much culture and arts and community. And I feel like that's kind of those are the elements that make St. Paul so vibrant, and the elements that keep me here.
You live, ask someone, in St. Paul, where do you live? I live in Highland. I live on West 7th. We live in neighborhoods. If Minneapolis sees itself as a big city that happened to be divided into small neighborhoods, St. Paul's just the reverse. St. Paul is a collection of small towns, neighborhoods, that happens to be inside the boundaries of a city, and it's a capital city. Each of those neighborhoods has a self-identity, and people are proud of what they've done. You may not know your immediate neighbors, but you have a certain affinity with other people that live in Frogtown.
St. Paul does have a feeling, and once you know it, you fall in love with it. You know, St. Paul speaks to, we call ourselves a little big, you know, little town, big city, right? We're small enough such that we see you, and we're big enough to matter on the international scale. I mean, that's a hard balance to find.